Welcome back. So now let's talk about creating human resources. So if we look at how do we create abilities? In our day and age, there are so many opportunities to spend your time and develop and get abilities or improve your health. There's some places online like Coursera. There's another one that Harvard does. A lot of opportunities for completely free. You can go audit them, classes, or very cheap classes you could take for $10 through some of these services, especially as introductions. So, and then if you just go to Google, YouTube, I can't tell you the number of times I need to repair this part of my car. My mirror got ripped off of my car. How do I put it back? Go onto YouTube, look that up, and voila. It's telling me exactly the thing that I needed to do and how to do it. So generating abilities is much more constrained on your looking out for people or looking out for opportunities and actually being driven to do something. I can't think of it. I mean, reading books is also a big way to develop some of those thinking abilities. You want to be careful. You're like, I have that ability when you've really not done it, but you can learn how other people think about it. Critical thinking skills, super important with with generating human abilities. And then if you start to look at your health, well, how do you generate the health? Well, there's kind of those two sides. How do I create that that good health? That's going to be exercise. That is going, regular exercise. That's going to be eating well, and that's the biggest part probably is how you sleep. If you're consistently sleeping and you have a sleep pattern, it's going to be great. So creating those assets of kind of being peak health versus being in pretty bad health, be bad. And then if you look at time, we all have the same number of hours. However, how we choose to use that time can actually generate, I may listen to a podcast on my way to work or listen to a book on my way to work. I just use that time instead of listening to the radio. So I took that time that I was going to do commuting, and now I've converted that into actually those abilities. Warren Buffett, one of the wealthiest people in the world, I think he still lives in the same house that he lived in before he was wealthy. I think the one thing he said that he purchased was a private jet so that he could actually travel back and forth. One thing that you find is as you become more successful, the amount of time that you have actually to spend is actually going down. When you're young, you have infinite time, seems like really no direction. And then as you get older and more successful, the amount of time you actually have available goes down. So if we're looking at these, how do we generate those human abilities? Really around looking stuff up and being driven, and then finding books and other resources. You could also go to college, school, a lot of those things, talking with other people, apprenticing, health, a lot around figuring out your own body. A lot of people are different. If you start to look at what diets work for one person, seems like you can find a group of people that every diet works for. So it's really about figuring out what diet puts you into peak health and peak energy. And then the final one would be looking at your time and being more specific with it, scheduling yourself out. Get the important things. Some people have talked about getting the important things done first in your life. Like if I wake up, take care of the things that I need to first, then I'll make sure those are productive. Otherwise, I may not get them done the whole day, and then it's 2 or 3 days before the number one thing gets done. So we all have the same amount of time, but if we use it more productively, then we can also, it'll feel like we have more of it, even though technically we still have the exact same amount of it.